Hello everyone. The topic for today class is synapse. It will be discussed under the heading type of synapse, structure, process of chemical synaptic transmission, then inhibition at the synapses and the properties of synaptic transmission. So what is synapse? It is actually an atomic site where nerve cells communicate among themselves. It is only functional junction between two neurons. There is no anatomical connection, so there is no any continuity between different neurons. So what is the various different types of synapses? One is the anatomical types and second one is the physiological types. In anatomical types, there is exodendritic synapse and the exosomatic synapse and exoexonic synapse. What is exodendritic synapse? There is synapse between axon of a neuron and dendrite of another neuron. What is exosomatic synapse? It is the synapse between axon of a neuron and the soma of another neuron. In exoexonic synapse, there is synapse between axon of neuron and axon of another neuron. So there can be another anatomical type such as somatosomatic synapse, somatodendritic synapse, and dendroexonic synapse and dendrodendritic synapse can also be there. It is the diagram that shows different type of synapse. In A, it is exodendritic synapse, in which the axon terminates on the dendrite of another neuron. It is the exosomatic synapse, in which the axon communicate with the and end on the soma of the another neuron, and it is exoexonic synapse in which the axon of one neuron communicate with the axon of another neuron. Now, what are the physiological types? It is of three types. One is chemical synapses, second is electrical synapses, and third is conjoined synapses. So what happened in chemical synapses? Most type of synapses are of this type. In this, there is transmission occur through the neurotransmitter. So it conduct information only in one direction. So these synapses are more vulnerable to fatigue on repeated stimulation and also vulnerable to the effect of hypoxia and pH changes. So there is slower speed or velocity of nerve conduction in this type of synapses because it got fatigue and there is synaptic delay. The second type is electrical synapses. In this type of synapse, their transmission occur through gap junctions. Transmission at electrical synapses is electrotonic conduction. So it is the two-way conduction. It is same to the process of nerve conduction. In this electrical synapses, conduction occur in both direction and the speed of transmission is same as that of nerve conduction and it there is no synaptic delay and it occur in the retina and olfactory bulb of the CNS. And third one is the conjoined synapse. In this type of synapse, there occur both chemical and electrical transmission. Both are there. So there are three types of synapse. One is the three type of transmission in synapse. One is the chemical synapse, second is electrical synapse, and third is the conjoined synapse. Now, a structure of chemical synapse. The structure of chemical synapse, it is in typical chemical synapse, there is synaptic knob or button. What happens when axon of neuron approach the synapses? It loses the myelin sheath and divide into small branches and end in small swelling called synaptic knob or synaptic buttons. These synaptic nodes contain large number of mitochondria and there are synaptic vesicles that contain neurotransmitter. The mitochondria provide ATP that are required for the synthesis of neurotransmitter and synaptic vesicle contain neurotransmitter that can be excitatory or can be inhibitory. So the circular synaptic vesicle contain excitatory neurotransmitter and flat or elongated vesicle contain inhibitory neurotransmitter. This is the diagram that shows the structure of chemical synapse. It is the synaptic knob in which there is mitochondria and there are synaptic vesicle. One is round and another one is round or circular and another is flat. And this is the synaptic cleft and this is the presynaptic membrane and this is the postsynaptic membrane. The second is the presynaptic membrane. It is the axonal membrane that line the synaptic knob. And synaptic cleft is the small gap that is 20 to 40 nanometer wide between the pre and postsynaptic neuron or membrane and it contains the extracellular fluid that has glycoproteins and this extracellular matrix act as adherent between synaptic neurons. Now postsynaptic membrane is membrane that line the postsynaptic process. Okay, so there are presynaptic membrane, synaptic cleft and postsynaptic membrane in a chemical synapse. Now what is the process of chemical transmission? That is the chemical synaptic transmission. There are four processes that are involved in the transmission at the synapse. First is the release of neurotransmitter. Second is the development of excitatory postsynaptic potential or inhibitory postsynaptic potential, that is EPSP and IPSP. Third is the removal of neurotransmitter from the synaptic cleft and fourth is the development of action potential. Now release of neurotransmitter. When nerve impulse, that is action potential, travel in a nerve fiber, reaches the nerve terminal or synaptic knob, then there is depolarization of the presynaptic terminal. As depolarization occurs, there are voltage-gated calcium channel that is present on the presynaptic membrane that get open up and causes increased permeability of calcium ion. So, calcium ion that are present in the synaptic cleft or ECF of the synaptic cleft enter into the presynaptic membrane and this calcium ion causes increase in the calcium ion causes the exocytosis of the vesicle that contain neurotransmitter into the synaptic cleft. This synaptic vesicle discharge their content through small hole in the cell membrane, and these holes get sealed and the main vesicle stay in the cell. Only the discharge of the neurotransmitter occur into the synaptic cleft. This is called kiss and run discharge of neurotransmitter. And only one type of neurotransmitter is released from the terminal of single neuron, all terminal of single neuron, and this is called Dell's phenomena. What is synaptic delay? The time lapse between the arrival of nerve impulse at presynaptic terminal and this effect of neurotransmitter on postsynaptic membrane is called synaptic delay. It is normally less than 1 millisecond. Development of excitatory postsynaptic potential, that is EPSP, and inhibitory postsynaptic potential. What is excitatory postsynaptic potential? Excitatory postsynaptic potential, that is EPSP, is a local response. Okay, so it is the local response and it is produced by neurotransmitter like glutamate, that is excitatory neurotransmitter. The magnitude of EPSP is 8 millivolt and it is recorded by inserting a microelectrode into the ventral horn cell of the spinal cord and then stimulating the sensory nerve fiber in the dorsal root. What is the ionic basis of EPSP? This neurotransmitter bind with the receptor protein that are present on the postsynaptic membrane and open the ligand-gated sodium or calcium channel on the postsynaptic membrane, and this sodium diffuse into the from the postsynaptic membrane to the inward and depolarize the membrane. So this is the how development of EPSP occur. This EPSP does not transmit over the cell. It means there is no conduction of EPSP. Summation of EPSP, it is local response or it is graded response. So it does not follow all or none law. It shows temporal summation or spatial summation. Now, what is temporal summation and what is spatial summation? This graph shows the EPSP summation that result in the this graph shows EPSP and IPSP. In B, this is the recording of EPSP, and in graph C there is recording of IPSP. This graph represents a temporal summation of the EPSP. When EPSP is summated, it results in action potential. So, what is temporal summation? When repeated stimuli are given at shorter, very short intervals. So, before the EPSP, due to previous stimulus has decayed, so what happened? The next stimulus add to the previous one, and this produces the large response. So there is repeated stimulation of excitatory nerve, and this is summated and causes the action potential. What is spatial summation? In this graph, there is spatial summation of EPSP. It occurs when postsynaptic membrane receive impulses from a large number of presynaptic terminals simultaneously. It means many stimulus are given at the same time, so it got summated and spatial summation occur, and it result in action potential. Now this is the diagram that shows the method of recording of EPSP and IPSP. It means there is recording electrode or microelectrode that is inserted into the ventral horn cell, and there is stimulus is given in the dorsal root, and recording electrode is inserted into the ventral horn cell of the spinal cord. Both EPSP and IPSP are recorded through the same method. Now, what is inhibitory postsynaptic potential or IPSP? It is the hyperpolarization of the postsynaptic membrane that is produced by inhibitory neurotransmitters such as glycine and GABA. How this inhibitory postsynaptic potential develop? When this inhibitory transmitter released at the synaptic cleft causes opening of either potassium channel or chloride channel in the postsynaptic membrane. This causes diffusion of large number of potassium ion into the ECF or large number of chloride ion to the interior of the neuron. So there occur postsynaptic membrane to become more negative or hyperpolarized. This change in potential is called IPSP. It is its magnitude is -2 millivolt, and it is recorded by the same method as that of EPSP. This IPSP is also submitted by spatial and temporal summation as that of EPSP. Inactivation of neurotransmitter from the synaptic cleft, that is the when neurotransmitter uh, come into the synaptic cleft, it is inactivated after doing its work. So either it get diffused out of the cleft, or there is enzymatic degradation of the transmitter such as acetylcholine is degraded by acetylcholine esterase. There may be active transport back into the presynaptic terminal or transmitter reuptake. This method causes active reuptake of norepinephrine at the sympathetic postganglionic nerve ending. So, inactivation of neurotransmitter is essential, as if this neurotransmitter persists in synaptic cleft, it causes prolonged stimulation of the postsynaptic neuron and in response to a single electrical impulse in presynaptic neuron. So, inactivation of neurotransmitter is essential. Thank you. In next class, we will discuss the development of action potential, inhibition, synaptic inhibition, and properties of synapses.